welcome to Holly's Business Pharmacy. Today we're going to be catching up with all things marketing and especially understanding how we promote ourselves. This is one of my most favourite topics, along with brand, along with quite a few other things, but how to promote yourself, actually the tricks and the trade of marketing. It's going to be a lifelong discussion. There's no such moment that you basically sort of go, right, I know everything in marketing. There's no need for me to develop this and I've got it all sorted. So we are always going to come back to marketing in Holly's Business Pharmacies. Business Pharmacies supported with, you know who, Dell Technologies. Dell allows me to sit here every other week and bring you guests. And today's guest is Kat Anderson. She's coming from a company called Sprout Social, and we're going to be talking about marketing in 2023.
Hi, Holly. I am so glad to be here. Thank you so much for having me on. And I'm obsessed with the energy and the sexy facts already. I'm obsessed. I'm loving it.
This is how it's done here, Kat. This is how it's done. So I'm thrilled to have you. Kat, why don't you introduce yourself?
So hi, everybody. My name is Kat Anderson. I am the head of international marketing here at Sprout Social. I'm a massive marketing nerd and have I'll show my age. I did work in agencies back in the days when we still do radio ads, but I've gone from radio ads, TV ads, right through now to digital marketing. So I'm lucky that I've got experience across all of that. I'm really obsessed with innovation, which is why I think social media is always really exciting because it's always changing and always moving. And yeah, as I said to your team, Holly, I am partial to the odd harebrained idea. I like to do something that's a little bit outside of the box as well. Because I think people should have authentic, exciting, fun experiences as well when they're being sold to. It shouldn't just be like sale, sale, sale. It should be fun, and you should like have a bit of fun while you're doing it.
Absolutely. Now, I'm a client of Sprout, but tell it for everyone else. What is
Sprout? So Sprout Social, the official tagline is that we offer deep social media listening and analytics, social media management, customer care, commerce, and advocacy solutions for brands and agencies worldwide. But basically, we are like your best friend when it comes to social media. So it can be very discombobulating when you have a million different channels on a million different platforms and you're trying to manage everything that happens. Because as you've said, Holly, everything kind of is starting to gravitate towards social media now, like customer care is happening there. And if you're doing this all separately, it can be really difficult to keep on top of things and to keep matching customers' expectations, which I think we'll get to in this discussion. So Sprout Social is basically a place where you can consolidate all of that into one tool, and we'll make it really, really easy for you to see everything and just to make sure that you're on top of everything that you need to be with your social media.
Yeah, and it's really changed our lives, guys. So you really do need to check this out, because it is, ultimately we have very little time to run our businesses. Social media can take so much time, not only if you're posting, so the creativity that's going out, but the managing of your community and the fact you do want to get back to people, but you have so many things. Are you going to miss them? So Sprout is a brilliant tool for you all to look into. But let's get into the subject today. I was just saying that 2023 and marketing trends. Now that can be something that sounds like a conference that you're going to go to. But the reason is because, as you said, and I'm the same, I started in advertising when I was 18 years old. And I used to have, the main things I was doing was media in terms of radio, TV and press. And that was it. That really was how far it went. As time has gone on, it's why it's so important to keep up with these things, because things are moving quicker and quicker. So 2023, what are consumer expectations?
I mean, that's a great question. So I think as you've mentioned there, social media has grown so much, and what we have discovered, so we run a report every year where we ask British and Irish consumers and social media managers what they think is happening in their world. So straight from the horse's mouth. From the consumer side of things, everything is now generated and gravitating towards social media. So consumers' expectations are huge on social media now. And this is like the important thing that we're always saying to our clients. It, again, way back when, you maybe would throw the intern onto social media and throw a couple of tweets out every couple of times a week, something like that. Yeah, and it was like,
Yeah.
you know, people didn't really know how to leverage it for business. Whereas now we're seeing that consumers use it to research you, to find out what other people are saying about you, to check out what you've got on offer, and to get in touch with you, to give you feedback, to complain to you. Everything is going to social media. The expectations around that then, and this is where we saw that there was a little bit of a lag, is that businesses still, a lot of them, I mean, some of them are doing it really well, but a lot of businesses still haven't quite realized that actually social media is the #1 channel that consumers will go to get in touch with you in any capacity that they're going to get in touch with you. So things like phone lines, helplines, like emails, everything like that, people still use them, but it is so much easier. And we all know that as consumers ourselves, it's so much easier to
Yeah.
go and like send a message on social media rather than who wants to sit on a phone line for hours? Like no one does unless you're really desperate.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's like the big important thing that people are missing, because the expectations around that are quite fierce. Actually, we find that people are they will get annoyed if they're not responded to, and unfortunately still a lot of people aren't responded to. And I can speak personally, whenever I message a company and they get back to me really quickly, I feel $1,000,000. I'm like, wow, that was amazing customer service. And, you know, it's not that hard to do, but a lot of people aren't doing it. And so
Yeah.
what we further asked people then, so we were like, you know, are you annoyed if people aren't getting back in touch with you in time? Yes. What actions are you going to take? So what was interesting here is that we ran the same survey in the US and in the UK. And in the US, they were like, yeah, you know, we'll maybe leave a bad review. In the UK, if you're not getting back in touch with people quickly enough, they will choose a competitor instead. So it's like quite significantly, yeah, it's quite an
Ooh.
important difference, because yeah, like a bad review is not great. We don't want that, but just to like instantly be like, well, look, I think what's interesting there is that I think we are still sort of building this sense of like being connected to brands in the UK. So we have less brand loyalty. So
Mm.
people are like cutthroat. Okay, if you're not going to get back to me, I'll just go to a competitor.
Yeah. Yes, and I'm looking. I in my research, I did find another sexy stat, and I can't bloody find it now. But it was something absolutely insane about customer service and the fact that you would just drop it like a lead balloon. And it really made me sit back and think, Christ, you know, that is oh, here we go. Thank you. It's like magic. It happens here. 57% of customers would stop shopping from a brand if their negative feedback was left unaddressed. So that's not even like customer service. I bought the wrong size. I really want to send it back, but I'm finding your postage system really, you know, annoying. And it's not that. It's the fact that now I've left you bad review or a bad thing and you don't get back. 57% of customers would stop shopping with you. So it really shows you, like you said, that this idea of social media being for the great Instagram picture and doing all those sorts of things, fine. But the 2023 message here is it's now your almost portal for all of the wires connecting into your company, and why ultimately you work at Sprout Social, because ultimately that's what you are. I'm just going to, we've got a bit of a
I
delay.
am in
Are you in
Ireland.
Ireland?
Yeah.
Yeah. I drove past your offices because I was in Dublin the other day, and I took a picture and showed the team. I went, there, it's on the
Yeah,
river, isn't
it is.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's such a nice area. Anyway, I digress. Karma Corner Gifts. Sprout Social sounds fantastic. Charlotte Pink, I love the Sprout Social blog from a fellow digital marketeer. Little Snowdrop Designs, I agree. Everything goes through social media for me. And actually, it's easier for me. Sapphire Glass, it's amazing how social media has progressed and grown in the past 5 years, especially now with AI. It's going to get bigger and easier potentially. Fenton Yard Flowers, this is so true. I use my Instagram as a blog almost to bring my community along with me as I make my weekly bouquets. Tell me, I've got a question here, Popsy Clunk. Sometimes I feel like you have to perform for what social media wants and be reactive rather than proactive. How do we tackle this and still be seen?
That's such a great question. And honestly, this is something that I'm asked all the time because it can be so easy to go onto any social media platform, especially something like TikTok, where it's like boom, 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 and it's trend, 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 like, and it feels overwhelming. Like, how on earth can you possibly be seen in this world that's moving so quickly? But honestly, and I know this is like a klaxon will go off here because I'm going to say the big word that everyone says about social media, but authenticity is just so important. And Holly, you made a great point in your introduction there about how it's better to have 1,000 really engaged fans than like 100,000 who are not that engaged. And that is absolutely true. And so I think when it comes to making content, focus on what you want to say. And I know it's so cheesy and people say it all the time, but what is it like? How would you speak to someone in a shop? How do you speak to your customers? What is it that you're selling? What's unique about you? Focus on that. Stamp your personality on it because no one else is going to make that content. And you will, like, what is that? Like, your vibe attracts your tribe. I think that really, really happens on social media. You know, you have to be savvy maybe about like how you tag things potentially to like attract that sort of initial interaction. But if you're creating content that is true and authentic to you, you will get the people, you know, you might not have tens of thousands of fans, but do you need tens of thousands of fans? And do you want to be beholden to making content that gets tens of thousands of likes every day? Another thing as well is that really nobody on social media is really getting tens and tens and tens of thousands of likes every day. Yes, there's maybe some influencers who are doing it, but for businesses that and for most people, that is not the case. You will get one or two that are maybe popular, but you'll see a lot of stuff that is not really performing with those same numbers. And that is completely okay. It's completely normal. Social media should also be a ground. I always say to people, try to experiment a little bit as well. You know, like there's unlike the days of putting out a radio ad or a TV ad, there are huge costs associated with doing that. With social media, and especially with the world we're in with TikTok, people are really like they like stuff that doesn't feel so super polished and like you're not a real person behind it. So the cost of actually creating that type of content is a lot lower, and so you can play a little bit and experiment a little bit, see what works with your audience, what they interact with, and don't be afraid of some stuff works and some stuff doesn't, because that happens with absolutely everybody.
And what great advice. And I think I bang on, I shouldn't say bang on, but I do, about this idea that we sort of sell products or services and that we are sort of part of this journey, and it's all about ticking a box of doing social media and then I do my emails. It's far deeper, everyone. This is about the purpose of why you exist with your company. And why is it you, Rachel, Sarah, Mary, Jane, why is it you doing what you're doing? And you might not find it interesting, but I think this is what you're exactly saying, Kat, right? It's actually, it is interesting. And if it's not interesting, if you've not got a USP, if you've not got a point of view, if you haven't got any values, if you haven't got a purpose, then your business is not going to thrive. But if you do, this is what it's all about. And then you will hit moments where you're talking about something or you're showing something and suddenly it clicks and you're like, aha, I'm learning because I'm being curious and I'm doing different things. something is clicked here. This is something that everyone in my community believes. I will make note of that because actually it's something that I believe in as well. Now, if you're just doing it for likes, this is where everything goes wrong. It's where I'm sure what you're saying, when you see brands who have social media managers who are churning it out, you know, that they're not able to have that insight that these small businesses have, right? And I'm sure big businesses would wish that they had something different to say every day, but they don't. They've got that season's range and they've got to talk about it. Would that be your, because you obviously work with big and small brands, would that be your, as your viewpoint as well?
1,000,000%. Like, there is a huge advantage for smaller brands against the larger brands, because I honestly think that social media is a strange technological microcosm of being in a big room full of people at a party. And the people who speak with enthusiasm and passion, and I'm sure everyone's had this, if you're speaking with enthusiasm and passion about something, it doesn't really matter what they're talking about, because it's really, you know, there's a really great energy to that and people love that. So if you're passionate about your business and can go on and talk about something, you can show like a behind the scenes, this is what we did today, we're developing this product, or, you know, we've tried a different scent, or whatever it might be. That stuff is absolutely golden and people really, really love that. And actually, further to your point as well, at the start you mentioned about how this is a time, like this is an economically difficult time at the minute, but people are being so much more considered about where they're spending their money. And actually, this is, again, works hugely in favor of smaller businesses, because people are thinking, we actually want to support women-owned businesses. We want to support businesses in our local community, or something that uses like local products. Like, absolutely blast all of that stuff out, because there's a huge shift in consumer buying power now, where people are choosing to support these smaller businesses over the larger ones.
Yeah, oh gosh, good points. I've got lots of comments coming in. RM Eco, hi Holly and Kat, totally resonating. A company I contacted has taken so long to respond that I've gone elsewhere. It makes sense that my customers will do the same. And just before I read any more, my other sexy stat that went with this dissatisfied customers is, did you know that dissatisfied customers typically tell, and this is super scary everyone, 9 to 15 other people about their experience. So can you imagine? So you recruit one person, it's taken you forever to recruit them to become a customer. You don't respond to them, and they will basically tell 9 to 15 other people. So you could actually be minus 16 people after recruiting that one person. So that was just my interlude, but it is fascinating stuff, because I didn't actually quite realize that. That's very powerful. Little snowdrops, designs, I agree about authenticity, so true. I even show a bit more about myself, the good and the bad, plus my little boy gets involved too. Kirsty Turner, PBA, I'm nodding here, authenticity is the biggest thing. Social Pip, yes, being you, truly you all the way. Trends will come and go, but you will always be you. Colour Wheel Garden, love that your vibe attracts your tribe. It's absolutely true. Sapphire Glasses makes so much sense. Wow, the power of word of mouth. It is. We actually haven't changed since we sat around campfires attending to our flocks back hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago, where we had no other way of telling anything but in a story. And we're going to talk about stories. And Warren Barber's great conversations, lots to take away. So marketing is, I would say, storytelling. I just said that about that day in the life of somebody. Do you think it can be overdone, that topic? Or do you really think that that is actually the sort of golden thread?
I mean, I personally do not think it can be overdone at all. And I think it's how we connect with people. And again, another big thing that we saw is that, you know, again, another big elephant in the room is that the pandemic was awful and everyone was really separated from each other. And whilst we could connect digitally, you know, people were looking for that authentic human connection. We want to feel like we're part of a journey with people. And more than ever, I think that storytelling has a really important role to play with businesses. Again, I can speak from a personal perspective, I do like to try and find women-owned businesses and like smaller businesses to support. And I'd love as a consumer to be taken on that journey with them to, where people are really transparent about how they're growing and what they're doing. And I don't get sick of it as a consumer. I'm still buying the same product. Like it's not that my buying is not changing, and it probably wouldn't change, but I feel so much more connected to the business. And therefore, I think there's that extra stickiness of you as a consumer. And to counteract what you'd said about, people going in like saying they were flipping awful and they didn't get back to me, when you have a business that you actually are like, I feel invested in this business, like I think that they're doing amazing stuff, that's when you're sitting like, at a table with your girlfriends drinking a glass of wine and you're like, by the way, this business is class, you should really check them out. And I think storytelling is how humans communicate most effectively. And I think that people want to have a connection with your business. And can I add one tiny thing in, just when you were talking about the not responding and people going and being livid and saying, oh, they're rubbish. One other really interesting thing that I found on this very topic is that I think a lot of people don't want to respond to negative feedback because they're afraid that they can't solve it, But actually, what has been discovered time and time again is even acknowledging it and saying, like, we are so sorry that you had a terrible experience. And you know what? We've taken your feedback and, we're going to look into it. That hasn't solved anything, but it has acknowledged the person. And if you acknowledge, you don't have to solve all the bad feedback. And I know it is really scary when someone is given off about you, but even just acknowledging it will counteract all of that negative, like, spreading bad words about you to other people, which I think is really, and again, it's so easy. You don't have to solve everything.
Yeah. But it's seeing them, it's seeing them good, bad, and ugly. It's seeing people. Holly and Co team, do we have a counter sexy stat for what Kat's just saying there? Because I would love to know, because I bet when we find out what it is, that 9 to 15 people that you tell if it's bad, unless we're all just sadistic people, I would hope to think, you know what I mean? I would hope to think it's like you tell double if it's good. And now we're going to find out you only tell your mum and your dog or something. Now, I want to hit on, hard to read anything about marketing. We're talking about 2023 trends. It's hard to read about anything about marketing without hearing about Gen Z. So who are they? Why do they matter? And especially for someone who might not be selling to them, because I'm also a real advocate of finding out who your customer is. And there will never be a moment where you will have all your customers. So I do feel as a person, I'm like, yeah, but I want to stay in my lane because this is my target audience and they're going to be the most likely to convert. So why would someone look at Gen Z then?
So I think I totally know what you're talking about and I totally relate to that. And as an elder millennial myself, I have always been a little bit afraid of Gen Z coming up behind me and they're super cool and I can't keep up and my genes are not right and everything I do is like wrong, and I can understand where it's like, let's stick with the customers that we know. But actually, facts are facts. Gen Z now makes up 30% of the buying population, which is huge. And that is only going to continue to grow. It is, yes, maybe people wear the wrong jeans, but who really cares about that? Actually, what's really interesting about Gen Z as a generational group of people is that they are, again, to our former point, much more intentional about where they put their money. So they do want to see companies that are being responsible with how they are interacting with the environment, maybe how they are interacting with local communities, how they are giving back, a proportion of their funds or their profits to charity. Gen Z is really, really paying attention to all of this stuff. And again, this offers a huge advantage to smaller businesses. They are much more inclined to be wanting to support local, to find eco-friendly alternatives to larger organizations. That is very much baked into the mindset of a Gen Z consumer. And so I think it's something that isn't to be afraid of. It's something that's going to continue, and that those trends have held true for quite a number of years. And I think that is like part of the personality of that particular generation. And so it's something that we should take advantage of as smaller businesses, because it will work to your favor.
Absolutely. And what great values to have as well, I have to say. You know, that is a good consumer. It's consumer to attract. Someone's asking, do I have little elves that do research or something for me? I mean, I have the Holly & Co team. We could be called little elves, but the thing is that the stat that's come back, okay, so we were saying 72% of consumers will tell 6 or more people, we were saying 75, I think, percent of customers, or was it, no, 54% of customers would tell 6 to 15 people about their negative experience. Okay, so let's say half, make it easy. 72%, so another 25% would tell 6 people or more if they're satisfied. So let's just even make that simple for everyone just to remember, it's 6 people either way. But there would be more people telling more people if you were satisfied. So thank God for the human race, and that we're not just all looking to bitch, but ultimately, you know, that is a good thing for us to remember. 6 people will hear if they have a negative experience, but actually the majority of people will tell another 6 if they have a positive. So please, please remember that. Bountiful Botanics, I'll 100% buy local over big brands every time, especially other women artists. By Gloria Jewelry, thank you so much for giving me hope that I can do this just by being myself and pretending I'm chatting in a party. That's just a great, you know, breakdown business, everyone. It is not rocket science. I know it's always been made into a black art, but ultimately what Kat's saying, it's true. Think of yourself in that room surrounded by people. How are you going to get noticed? By Gloria Jewelry, she has a question. Any advice for those who really don't like social media and are not tech savvy? That's something that we hear from this community a lot. Should I invest in help, as I am pretty much a dinosaur in this area? Well, I think you'd agree, Kat, that Gloria Jewelry, you need to get into social media. I mean, there's no two ways about it, but you don't have to rest your entire business on it, do you?
I would totally agree. You definitely don't. And the great thing about social media as well is that, you know, you can be as involved or not as you want to be. There's lots of different platforms. I think what I would recommend is start with like who your core customers are, you know, so maybe let's not use social media right off the bat for like trying to go viral and, you know, grow your customer base. Think who your core customers are. Where are they likely to be? Like, where are they going to be spending time? Maybe pick 1 or 2 platforms. That's where you'll focus. Instagram is a really easy one to start off with because, you know, you can just take photos of your products and share them. I would say that starting slowly until you like build your confidence is a good way to kind of do anything, I think. But if you really dislike it, I know that there are lots of different there's lots of different resources that you can use to help you build your confidence. And I will shout out the Sprout Social blog. It is a cathedral of information, and it's for all levels of ability and sophistication when it comes to social media. So you can have really high, crazy, different strategies, and you can have like some of the basics just to help you get on your feet with it. But if it is something that you really dislike and you're in a position to get someone to help you with, I mean, there's no reason to not do that, because I do think, to the points that we've made in this, there's a great opportunity to grow any business on social. And I think that there's no business that I can think of that won't shine there. But obviously it's like, yeah, I'm not going to tell you, yes, definitely hire someone, you know, but
But even if it's anyone, I think you just can't, you know, you can't exist in this world by ignoring the most powerful, free, relatively, however you want to think about that word free, you know, channels that are there. And the other channels that I would invest in, as I said, is email marketing. What other things and services do you believe, Kat, are crucial in 2023? And before we go into that, I've got people saying, and I should have worked out what Gen Z is. I'm absolutely crap at that. Is Gen Z, people are saying they're 8 years old to 23 years old. Do you
Let
know
me
that off
have
the
a
top of your head?
quick look, like Gen Z age range. I think it's so they are born between 1997 to 2012. So they're currently between 11 and 26 years old.
Okay, 11 and 26. So we're not talking
Yeah,
about the
no.
11-year-olds, but we are talking about those, 19, 20-year-olds going through to 26. We all think about it. I started work at 19, and I was a consumer then. And I haven't really changed my style necessarily. And so brands that I sort of did like back then, not that many of them exist, but it is the fact that actually there is that younger group. So think of them as that 20 to 26-year-olds. So right now your target audience might be 30 to 40, but what could you be doing to start the journey with the 25-year-old? I think that's the point here. And they are activists. They vote with their money. They campaign for change. So again, even more reason to bring that story through about what you're doing, what matters to you, how you're helping. So do you think that there are products or services in marketing strategy that you would feel would be useful with this huge opportunity of
I mean,
social media? Like people are asking here, should they join TikTok? Should they do these things? But ultimately, if your target audience is 60, right? I know for a fact that yes, there are 60-year-olds on
yeah.
TikTok, but they're not really, that's not where you should be spending your time, and I think that there can be this thing of, we're small business owners, we cannot create content for every single platform. You've got an hour a day to do it.
Yeah.
What do you pick?
I totally agree with that and double down on that actually. Please do not swamp yourself with the pressure of trying to create content for every single platform. What I would do is if you have an understanding of your customer already, is like, as I said earlier, like think about where they're likely to be spending time with or time online. Another really good tip is to think of maybe some competitors, some brands that are similar to yours, some companies maybe similar size, similar product, whatever it might be, and have a look where they are online and where they seem to be getting the most success, because that's a little bit of a cheat sheet. Do you know what I mean? You can kind of go like, okay, look, they are
Yeah.
not really getting any traction on Facebook, for example, but their Instagram is blowing up. And again, I'm not saying go out and copy it, but you can, from looking at like what competitors are doing, it can give you a little bit of like a springboard into getting a sense for the type of content that might resonate with your customers, that hopefully you can see stuff that you could maybe easily replicate or put your own twist on it. And I think that's like a good way to sort of get started without, feeling completely overwhelmed. Like when you see what other people are, when you go on to social media is just so vast. And I totally understand the feeling of overwhelm when you look at everything that is going on there. So if you like narrow your searches and just look at like your little pocket of the industry, that's really helpful.
Yeah. Really great advice. And as you said, it's not about copying what they're doing, but if you know a bigger brand, let's say, who's got huge marketing teams and they are nowhere to be seen on Facebook, but they're everywhere to be seen on Instagram, or they're nowhere to be seen on Instagram, they're everywhere on TikTok, and they've got a great following, you can pretty much think, okay, that is where my world is. I don't have a great marketing team. My marketing team is me. So let me just take that tip. And that's actually a great advice for anything. When you look at even the big game changers on the internet, so Amazon or, anywhere like that, it's not about copying what they're doing, but it is looking at how they are treating consumers or behavioral consumers and knowing that thousands of people went into that decision. So you would, if you just started off there, it's a good place. Is there any, before you go, this has been so informative, is there any advice that you would just give generally when it comes to looking at marketing in 2023?
Yeah, I think, and again, you mentioned this at the top, Holly, but like always remembering like who you are, like who your values are, and what is your personality online going to be? Like, what is the personality of your brand? You will it will never stop that there are new trends coming at a rate of knots. Not all of them are going to work for you. And I think just understanding that like you can pick and choose what might work for you and your business is a good way to avoid the sense of being underwater and there's just so much to choose from. I would also say, and I always say it, um, experimenting a little bit is having like it's actually fun. I think for creative people as well, have a
Yeah,
little bit of fun and
yeah.
try different things out. There is nothing to lose with social media. You have so many opportunities to connect with your audience. Think about what you would like as a consumer as well. Now, I know that's we should definitely always be thinking about our customers, but you know, if you're representing your business, you want it to be an authentic representation of you. So what do you like to see online and try and like replicate that as well? But I think have a bit of fun
Great,
as well, you know, like
great.
I would also say, and I
Yeah.
obviously have to say this, but Sprout, we do free trials. So if you want to try and make this easier, you know, I would recommend trying to take a free trial out with Sprout. We'd be happy to help. There's no obligation, but anything that you can do that makes things a bit easier for you, make your life easy, try to have some fun, and you will see trends starting to emerge where things are working better than others, and you'll eventually find your feet. I promise, I promise, I promise.
Brilliant, Kat. This is so great. I'm going to just a load of messages have just come in. Slow Moon Designs. I'm feeling hopeful after listening to you two. Thank you very much. Sandbanks Jewelry. Instagram is a game changer for me. I've had so many leads. It's brilliant. Sapphire Glass. Such great advice. Deck, great advice. Love the concept of competitor analysis as a springboard. Rockworks Designs. I'm always asking my kids, 21 to 30, on their thoughts, who and why they follow, both businesses and people. It's so inspiring and helpful to talk to them. Social Pip, yes, focus on one or two platforms and be amazing on them, and you'll feel like you're actually getting somewhere. And Popsy Clunk feels far less overwhelming, put this way, and a competitor analysis based on our own little pocket of the market. I'm going to remember that. Kat, bless you. I look forward to waving when I'm next in Dublin through my taxi, and I'll wave at you. But
You're
thank you,
very
Kat, for
welcome.
your
Thank you for having
time.
me. It's been really fun.